Hello everyone, welcome to Think Computer YouTube channel. In this video, I am going to discuss about string manipulations in QBasic. So the contents of this video: string constant, string variable, string assignment, concatenation of strings, string functions, ASCII characters and codes, and programming questions. So let's begin. Okay, so let's start with the concept of string constant and string variable. Okay, so starting with the string constant, by definition we can say that a string constant is a set of characters enclosed within double quotes. So if any character, and by character I mean alphabet, special character, digit, or space, or any symbol. So any character which is enclosed within double quotes, it has to be within double quotes, is called a string constant. For example, hello India is a string constant, welcome my city is also a string constant, 1 2 3 4 5 is also a string constant, percentage, dollar, hash, exclamation, @ is also a string constant, hello 1 2 3, $3, hash is also a string constant. Now you may be thinking that how can 1 2 3 4 be a string constant? It's a number, right? But no, it's a number only when it is written like 1 2 3 4 5 without double quotes. If I write it without double quotes, then it's a value, it's a number, okay, which can be stored in a normal variable. But since we have got it in double quotes, within double quotes, so it becomes a string. So string constant means any character or any set of character which is enclosed within double quotes. Okay, now remember that string constants cannot be used in arithmetic operations. That means you cannot add, subtract, multiply, or divide them. So that's not possible. Like with normal numbers you can add, subtract, multiply, or divide them, but with string you cannot do. Okay, now let's talk about string variable. What is a string variable? So as you know that a variable is a container which store values. Okay, so I can say that a variable which store any string constant is called a string variable. Okay, so remember that a string variable name, it always ends with a $sign. So all the string constants that I have mentioned here as example when I was explaining the string constant, we can store them in variables like $, $, $, $, $, $, So all of these are string variables. Okay, the only thing that makes them different from a normal variable is the presence of the $sign. So when we don't use the $sign, it's a normal variable which can store any number, but when we use the $sign in the variable name, then it is a string variable and it can only store string values. That means if we write like $, is equal to 50, so it will not work, it will give an error because 50 is not a string constant. But if I write $, is equal to 60 or 50 suppose in double quotes, then it's fine, it's not a problem, it's correct. So when you write 50 in double quote, it is no longer a number, it is a string constant. So it can be stored in a string variable. But if you just write 50, it's a number, it cannot be stored. So that is what a string variable is. Next thing is string assignment. So when you assign or when you give any string constant as a value to a string variable, then it's called string assignment. Okay, for an example, $, is equal to English. So English is a string constant and this is given to the variable $. That means the variable $, contain English as a value. It's a value. Okay, so this is called string assignment. Now if you are thinking where string is used, well, in real life everywhere string is used. Whenever you fill up any form, let it be a offline or online form, you enter your name, address, email address and all those details, right? So that's string, right? You are using the string values like your name, your address, so you are storing them. Next is concatenation of strings. So concatenation of string means to merge or join two or more strings together. Suppose we have a string which contain this constant think, and the second string contain computer. Okay, so if I do C dollar is equal to A dollar plus B dollar, so it's not going to add them, but it's going to concatenate them together. Okay, in strings we cannot do addition, just I told you in the previous page, right? So instead of adding, when you do plus in two strings, it concatenate the value. Okay, so if A dollar contain think and B dollar contain computer, and if you do A dollar plus B dollar like I did here, so it makes think computer together. So in the C dollar, in this variable, it will contain this value think computer. Okay, and if you want to add a space, like I have written D dollar is equal to A dollar plus space plus B dollar, then only a space will be added in between both the words. Okay, so if you need a space, you need to add a space this way when you are concatenating strings. And remember, we can use the plus for concatenation, but there is no use of the minus, asterisk or the division. So that's not possible. Only the concatenation is possible where we use the plus sign. Now we are going to discuss about string functions. So with strings we do have some functions. Function means predefined program. So we can use these programs, these functions, to perform different tasks. Okay, so I'm going to discuss many of those functions, and the first one is the len function. It's called the length function. So this function is used to find the length of any string, and when I say length, I mean the number of characters in the string. Okay, where space is also counted, remember that. For example, if I have written A dollar is equal to my India, so the number of characters which is present in my India, so M is the first character, Y is the second character, space is the third character, I is the fourth character, N is the fifth character, then we have got 6, 7, and then we have got 8. So there are total 8 characters in the sentence my India, including the space. So if I write len A dollar, okay, it will give us the length of the string, how many characters are there, and we can store it in a variable, like I have stored in the variable B. So I have written B is equal to len and A dollar. So in B, 8 will be stored, the number of characters which is present in this sentence. Take another example. Suppose we have this sentence M dollar hash space 345. So M is the first character, dollar is the second character, hash is the third character, then we have got the space, then the fifth character, then sixth, then seventh. So there are total 7 characters. If we find the length of this, it will give us 7 only as the number of characters. So this way the length function helps us to get the length of any string. The next two functions that we have here, they are str dollar and val function. So str dollar function, it is used to convert any number into string form. So basically, if you have a number and you want to convert that number into equivalent string form, so like if we have a number 100 and I want to make it a string, so making a string means just to put that number inside of double quotes, nothing else. So that 100 will go inside of double quotes and it will become a string. Once it will become a string, I cannot use it in any kind of arithmetic calculations. I can only use it as a string to store in the memory. Okay, so if I write str dollar 100, this 100 will become a string. It will be inside of double quotes. Similarly, if I have another example, this one, b is equal to 1 2 3 4, it's a number, right? So if I write str dollar of b will become a string and it will be enclosed within double quotes. So it converts any number to string form. Remember, if it's not a number, then str dollar is not going to work. Now what about the val function? It is just the opposite of str dollar. So basically the val function will convert any string which contain digits to numeric form. So if you have a string which contain only digits, then only this function will work and it will convert it back to numeric form. For example, I have this string a dollar is equal to 100. Now 100 is a number, but it's in the string form, right? So if I write val a or dollar, then this a dollar which is containing 100 as a string is going to be converted to its numeric value and it's going to be 100, which can be then stored in a numeric variable. So if you need to convert any number to string form, use str $. If you need to convert that string back to the numeric form, you can use the val function. The next two functions are lcase $ and ucase $. So lcase $ function is used to convert any alphabet which is present in the string to lowercase letters. So lcase $ converts to lowercase, and ucase $ function is used to convert alphabets which are present in the string to uppercase letters. For example, if we have a string India which is in capital letters and we use lcase $, we put that string in the lcase $, so we get India in small letters. Okay. Similarly, if we have this string, suppose my India, where M is capital and I is capital, then again the entire string is converted to lowercase this way. So if the string contain any other character, okay, like digits or special characters, okay, so it will not change that, it will remain same. Okay, that means only uppercase alphabets are converted to lowercase alphabets when we use lcase $. If there is any lowercase alphabet already there in the string or any other type of character, that will remain same. Now when ucase $ is used, then all the alphabets which are present in the string, they are converted to uppercase. If there is any alphabet already in uppercase, it remains same. If there is any other character, it also remains same. Okay, next two functions are left $ and right $. So the left $ function is used to extract any number of characters from the extreme left of the string. Okay, you need to specify two things, the variable name and the number of characters. Suppose we have a string variable which contain this string welcome, and if I write left $a comma 2, that means from this string $a take out two characters from left side. So the first two characters from left side, they are W and E. That means in the string B $, we will have W and E, V. Similarly, if we write left $a comma 4, that means four characters from left side. So VELC, that is what we are going to get. Similarly, the right $, function, this will extract any number of characters but from the extreme right of the string. For example, if we have this word think computer, and if I write right $a comma 3, that means three characters from right hand side, the last three characters, so that is going to be TER, that is what we will get in the B $. But if we write 5, that means 5 characters from the right side, that is PUTER. Next function is mid $ function. This function is used to extract any number of characters from any position in the string, and this is one of the most important functions. Okay, so this function requires three parameters, means three values. First is the variable name, second is the starting position, and third is the number of characters. So if we take this example where we have this string containing this value welcome, okay, so let us write the position values. W is position 1, E is position 2, L is position 3, then 4, 5, 6 and 7. So yeah, the length is 7. Okay, now if we write mid $a comma 2 comma 3, so we get this value ELC. Now how that is working, see, here $a is the variable name, 2 is the starting position, and 3 is the number of characters. That means from the string $a, starting from position 2, take out 3 characters. So if we start with position 2 and take out 3 characters, so we get ELC. Take another example. Suppose if we write mid $a comma 5 comma 2, then starting from the 5th position 2 characters, so we get O and M in that case. So using the mid $, we can extract any number of characters from any position in the string. Now before I explain the last two functions, let us discuss about ASCII characters and ASCII codes. So the full form of ASCII is American Standard Code for Information Interchange. In simple, I can say that ASCII is a table and it is used in the computers to represent each character using a code. So everything you see on the screen is basically a character. Everything you type using the keyboard or the touch screen is a character, whether it is alphabet or special character or any kind of symbol or digit or anything, even space also, everything is a character. So whenever we communicate with the computer, these characters need to be converted to a code that can be understood by the computer, and whenever the computer is responding and showing us anything on the screen, that has to be converted back to the character form. Okay, so for this conversion purpose, for this translation purpose, the ASCII codes are used. There are total 256 codes, okay, in this table, starting from 0 and up to 255. So we don't need to memorize the entire table, but some part of the table we need to know. Okay, so for uppercase A to uppercase Z, the code are from 65 to 90. For lowercase a to lowercase z, the codes are from 97 to 122. For space, the code is 32. For digits 0 to 9, the codes are 48 to 57. I hope you are understanding. What I mean to say is, if capital A ASCII code is 65, then capital B ASCII code is 66, capital C is 67, and so on. So Z is 90. All the codes are sequential. Remember, the difference between ASCII codes of uppercase and lowercase letter is 32. That means the difference between the ASCII code of capital A and small a is 32. You can check that. 65 plus 32 is 97. Correct? Similarly, capital B and small b, the difference is 32. Okay? Similarly, the difference between capital C and small c is 32. This logic is used in many of the programs. Now, let us see the last two functions. $, and then ASC function. So $, function, it is used to convert any ASCII code to character form, from ASCII to character form. For example, if we have any code 65 in a variable, so if I write $C, so 65 is going to be converted to its character form, and 65 is the code for capital A. So after converting it to character form, the variable will contain capital A. Okay, because capital A is having the ASCII code 65. If I would have used 97 for an example, then it would have been small a. Another example, if we have a code 122 and we convert it to character form using $, then we will get small z, because small z is the character for the ASCII code 122. Opposite of that is ASC function, which will convert character to ASCII code. So if I have any character, like if I have a character capital C, and if I use the ASC function to get the ASCII code, so I will get 67, because 67 is the ASCII code for the character capital C. Because 65 is capital A, so 66 is capital B and 67 is capital C. Now let us discuss programming questions related to strings. The first question is, write a program to accept any string, then count the number of A or A, means capital A or small a, present in it. For an example, if I have a string my India, okay, so then the counting should be equal to 1, because there is only one A present. Okay, but if we take another example, like I say the word is America, okay, so the count should be in that case 2, because the word America has one capital A and one small a. Okay, so let's see the program of this. So here is the program. First we have to take input the string. Whenever we are taking input a string with the variable name, use a $sign. So I have taken this variable $. You can take any other variable if you want. So I have taken $. Now we are going to run a loop. You can use a for next loop or a while when loop, doesn't matter. I have used the for next loop, but this loop has to begin with 1 and this loop has to go till the length of the string. So as we have discussed previously that the length function tells us the length of the string. Now suppose if the string is America, then the length means the number of characters in that word is 7. So this loop is going to run from 1 to 7. And using the mid function, we are going to take out each character out of the string one by one, and we are going to store it in a variable. Then using if condition, we are going to compare and check if that character is equal to capital A or equal to small a or not. If yes, then we are going to count it, and once the loop is over, we are going to print the counting. Okay, let's do the dry run of this program. So first we are going to give input a string. Okay, so I'm going to give input the string America. Okay, so I have written that here, and I have also written all the position values starting from 1, and there are 7 characters, so the last character is having position 7, 1 2 3 4 5 7. Now this loop is for extracting the characters from the string one by one. So here it is written for I is equal to 1, that means the loop begins with 1 and it is going till the length of the string. Now what is the length of the string? Obviously it's 7, because there are 7 characters in the word America if we take America. Okay, so it's going to run from 1 to 7. Now in the beginning I is 1, 1 is less than 7, condition correct. So using the mid dollar function, we are going to extract the characters one by one. As I have told you about the mid dollar function, first we specify the string variable name, which is $s in this case. Then we specify the position from where to take out the character. Now it is I, and we specify the number of characters, which is in this case 1. So that means starting from the position I, take out one character only. So at this moment the value of I is 1. That means I am saying that from position 1 take out one character. So we are going to get the character capital A, okay, which we are then storing in the variable CS dollar. So in this column of CS dollar I can write capital A, that is the first letter. Okay, now if CS dollar contains capital A or CS dollar contains small a, in any of the case, C equal to C plus 1, and yes, the condition is correct, it is capital A. So the value of count will increase to 1. The default value is not given, so it's 0. 0 plus 1 is 1. Then next I, the loop will repeat and the value of I will become 2. Now I is 2 and 2 is less than 7. The condition is correct. Now since the value of I is 2, now the position is 2. So from the position to take out one character, we get small m, which we store in the variable ch dollar. Now small m is not equal to any of the a's, capital or small, so condition false. No need to increase the value of c, no need to increase. Directly do next I, the value of I will be 3. Now I is 3, 3 less than 7, condition correct. So from the third position this time take out one character, we get small e. So small e is equal to any of these? No. Then next I is equal to 4. Now since I is 4, 4 is less than 7, condition correct. So from position 4 take out one character, which is in this case small r. So small r is equal to any of these? No. Then do next I becomes 5. So I is 5, 5 less than 7, condition correct. So from position 5 take out one character, we get the character I, small I. So small I is equal to any of these? No. The next I becomes 6. Now I is 6, 6 is less than 7, condition correct. So from the 6th position take out one character. So we are going to get small c. Now small c is equal to any of these? No. Then do next I. This time I becomes 7. So I is 7 and 7 is less than equal to 7, condition is correct. So from the position 7 take out one character, so we get small a. Now small a is equal to any of these? Yes, it is equal to small a. Okay, so count will increase again, plus 1, the value of c will become 2. Now next I, the loop will repeat and the value of I will become 8. When I is 8, 8 cannot be less than equal to 7, so the condition is false and the loop will exit. Then we will print the value of count. Okay, so it's going to print count is equal to 2, because there are 2 times a present in the word America. So this way we have to do dry run of any question of string manipulation. Okay, second question is write a program to accept any string, then print in the following manner. Suppose we have a sentence hello, hi and bye in the same line, it's a single sentence. So we have to print it in 3 different lines, hello, hi, bye. So basically whenever the word is complete, change the line. It's a very easy program, okay. See, here is the program. You take input a string, okay. You run a loop from 1 till the length of the string, you take out every character. Now taking out every character is something we are going to use in many of the programs, like in the previous program also we did. So when you are taking out the character, you just check if the character is equal to space. So if the character is equal to space, you can just do print. Now doing only print means to terminate the line. We know this by pattern programming. Yes. So when you get any space, so that means the word is complete, you do print. It will change the line. Else you just print that character. So keep on printing the character. When the space has occurred means the word is complete, then terminate the line. I'm going to run this program and show you the output. I don't think so there is any need of dry run of this program. It's a very simple question. Suppose I accept this string only, hello, hi and bye. When I press enter, this is what I get, hello, hi and bye in 3 different lines. Number 3, write a program to accept any string, then count the number of vowels present in the string. Remember, the word can have lowercase or uppercase letters. Okay, so vowel can be in lowercase or in uppercase. There are 5 vowels. If we consider uppercase as well as lowercase, so there will be 10 things to check. Lowercase a, e, i, o, u and uppercase a, e, i, o, u. Okay. Now suppose the word is hello for an example. So the output should be 2, count equal to 2, because there are 2 vowels in the word hello. E is there and O is there. Okay. So here is the program. First we are going to take input a string, and it is better if you convert the string to either lowercase or in uppercase, because if you don't convert, then you have to check 10 times. 5 times for uppercase vowels and 5 times for the lowercase vowels, because the string may have uppercase or lowercase letters, right? So better you can convert the string to either lowercase first or to uppercase first, whichever you want. So like I have converted the string to lowercase by writing this $s is equal to $lcase $s. Okay. Now I'm going to run the loop, take out the characters and just check for the lowercase vowels, because every letter I have converted to lowercase. So if the character is equal to A, or it is equal to E, or it is equal to I or O or U, then count it. You need to use the logical OR in order to connect all the conditions, because any one of them can be true at a time. So we are going to use OR in that case. Okay, and this is going to help us to count the vowels present in the string. Okay, so if I suppose input hello America for an example, so I get count equal to 6, because in the word hello there are 2 vowels E and O, and in the word America we have got capital A and capital E, capital A, small e, I and then A. So 4 are there, 2 are there, so 2 plus 4, 6. There are total 6 vowels in this sentence. Okay. Now suppose the question is saying for counting the consonants. Okay. So what changes to make? See, here only I can tell you. Instead of every equal to sign, use not equal to sign. Number 1, this is for consonant. Okay. Instead of every equal to sign, use the not equal to sign, and instead of every or, use and. Okay, so when the question is saying to count the consonant present in the string, so only 2 things to change. Number 1, change every equal sign to not equal sign. Number 2, change every or sign to and sign. And when you run the program, it will now work for the consonant. Suppose I input a word welcome. So it says count equal to 4. There are 4 consonants, W, L, C and M. There are 4 consonants. Okay. The next question is, write a program to accept any word and then check if it's a palindrome word or not. Now you already know what is a palindrome, right? Anything whose reverse is same as the original thing is called palindrome. So if you have got a word whose reverse is same as the original word, okay, for example, if we take the word madam, the reverse of madam is madam only. Okay, so it's a palindrome word. But if we take this example hello, the reverse of hello is not hello, right? So it's not a palindrome word. So this is the program. You need to take input a string, and you basically have to run a reverse loop. Normally we run the loop from 1 till the length of the string. So now you run from the length of the string to 1 step minus 1. So every time you take out the character, you take out in reverse, right? If we take the word madam and you run the loop from the length of the string, which is 5 in that case, there are 5 characters. So from 5 to 1, so you end up taking out the 5th character first, and then the 4th character, then the 3rd, then 2nd and 1, the first one, right? So when you append and form a new word, the new word will be reverse, right? So if the reverse word is equal to the original word, then you can say it's a palindrome word. Otherwise it's not a palindrome word. Suppose if I enter the same thing, madam, so it says a palindrome word. But if I suppose enter hello, so it says not a palindrome word.